The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
You know, Mr. Speaker, I am so glad to have the chance to talk about feminism because I know what a feminist government looks like. A feminist government builds the first national system of early learning and childcare in this country. A feminist government makes contraceptives free, and a feminist government ensures that every single woman in Canada has full control over her body.
Everyone has an opinion about Canadian federal politics. Hey gang, what's up? Just Aaron right here, Canadian Looney. So we've got Chrystia Freeland in the hot seat, and she does not handle it well. It's pretty embarrassing. She talks about like her support, which that's a lot to watch indeed, and you can see her supports through it, blah blah blah, but this is an attack on Chrystia Freeland by the Conservatives, and it should be, but this woman has no humility, or she just doesn't get how serious this situation is. It's very entertaining. We get to see some of our favorites on here. Melissa Lantsman, Mike Barrett's in here, Leslyn Lewis, Dr. Leslyn Lewis. It's a great piece, and who minds watching the Wicked Witch of the North get cut up? I don't mind so much. Anyhow, let's take a peek. Chrystia Freeland getting roasted and in total denial about the situation. Let's take a peek.
The Honourable Member from Thornhill.
It's day 2 in the House as the first female finance minister, again, is being publicly humiliated by the fake feminist prime minister. What's worse is that she's being replaced by an unelected man outside of her own caucus who her boss is now shielding from conflict of interest laws that allow him to take her job and keep his money. A man who works against our resource sector, who exports jobs to China while championing higher carbon taxes on heating and eating for Canadians. Why won't the finance minister talk to her boss about ending the personal attacks on her own credibility?
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
You know, Mr. Speaker, I am so glad to have the chance to talk about feminism because I know what a feminist government looks like. A feminist government builds the first national system of early learning and childcare in this country. Makes contraceptives free, and a feminist government ensures that every single woman in Canada has full control over her body. Until the Conservatives stand up for that, they have no right to talk about it.
The Honourable Member from Thornhill.
Fake feminist prime minister throws his finance minister under the bus with all the other ministers. The real record of this finance minister is record smashing 1 million people visiting a food bank in her province. In Ontario, 1 in 4 Canadians living in poverty. Canadians now spend more in taxes than they do on housing, on food, and on clothes combined. No wonder they're putting the training wheels back on for her. She can tell that to the Prime Minister.
Can't really proceed without making a little joke about Melissa Lantsman's shirt. I don't know, it just looked funny. However, big fan of Melissa Lantsman, deputy leader of the opposition, and she ransacks Chrystia Freeland here again, and Freeland just walks through the watch. It's crazy.
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, I've stood up to Trump, and I have stood up to Putin.
Are we just making up history now, Chrystia? Like you're the finance minister so you can control time? Those things did not happen. When did you stand up to Putin or the United States ever? Give me a break. Come on, lady. You can't fool everyone all the time. Give an example of when you stood up to Trump.
Juvenile playground insults from the wannabe mega maple Conservatives do not frighten me at all. But what I think is really interesting is that they don't actually want to talk about the economy. And that's because good economic news for Canadians is bad news for them. How pathetic that they put their own partisan interest first.
The honourable member from Haldimand Norfolk.
After 9 years.
This is Dr. Leslyn Lewis, and how are the Liberals going to do their tactics, or try their tactics against a woman like this? I'm curious to see. They've got an answer, though. They do have a plan. Let's check it out.
Of this Liberal NDP government, taxes are up, costs are up, crime is up, and now time is up. This self-proclaimed feminist prime minister has repeatedly shoved aside strong women who have stood up to him. Now the prime minister is replacing the first ever female finance minister with an unelected Mark Carbon Tax Carney. Why is this finance minister allowing herself to be publicly humiliated in this manner?
The honourable minister.
Mr. Speaker, it is a bit rich to hear the member of the Conservative Party pretend to care about feminism when their own leader was using misogynistic hashtags on their videos to attract men who hate women. Mr. Speaker, it was...
So the Liberal tactic right there in defending or like deflecting Dr. Leslyn Lewis, who is a presence, is to send in the cheetah print aggressive minister that where in the hell did this Kara come from? No one even knows who she is. Coming out there being super aggressive, just shooting fire. Who is this woman?
Anything but feminists when they bring forward backdoor legislation to ban abortion and to take away women's right to choose their own rights, Mr. Speaker, or when they all voted against increased funding to combat gender-based violence or to support survivors. Mr. Speaker, their leader doesn't care about women or equality. He only cares about himself.
The honourable member from Haldimand Norfolk.
Mr. Speaker, it's so sad. They're not even allowing the finance minister to answer because they all...
Order!
So the Liberals are going to try those low ball tactics against MP Dr. Leslyn Lewis. Good luck with the rest of it, man. Like, Mike Baird is up next. And then Karina Gould comes out of the woodwork back from her alien baby maternity leave to just be what she is, which is a total B word. It's YouTube. You've got to be gentle on here.
Order! The honourable member from Haldimand Norfolk from the top, please.
From the top? Mr. Speaker, they're not even allowing the finance minister to answer her own questions because they all know that the carbon tax is a failure. Canadians are suffering. There are over 1,800 homeless encampments in Ontario alone. 26% of Canadians are saying that they are considering leaving the country because it is too expensive. A single mother in Kingston reported paying 100% of her income in rent. Will this finance minister admit that the Prime Minister has lost confidence in her and Canadians have lost confidence in this government?
The honourable leader of the government in the House of Commons.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Conservatives keep talking about women, but they don't support policies that support women. Right. Why are they against affordable childcare? If they care about that single mother, they should be supporting affordable childcare. Mr. Speaker, if they care about women's economic freedom, they should be supporting childcare. If they care about women's rights, they should be supporting a woman's right to choose. The real fake feminists, Mr. Speaker, are the people who sit on that side of the aisle.
The honourable member from Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands and Rideau Lakes.
Well, Speaker, after 9 years of this NDP Liberal government, taxes are up, costs are up, crime is up, and time is up. This Prime Minister's new de facto finance minister, Carbon Tax Carney, has massive conflicts of interest, including multiple foreign investment firms. Canadians don't know how much he personally stands to profit from the advice that he's giving to the Prime Minister. It's more blatant corruption from this NDP Liberal government. So will the Prime Minister simply have Carbon Tax Carney sworn in as a public office holder so that the full extent of Canada's disclosure laws apply to him too?
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, unlike the Conservatives, we do believe in listening to experts from across the country. But let's talk about where the Conservatives get their ideas. The Conservative leader gets his advice on helping Canadians with their grocery bills from a Loblaws lobbyist. He gets his advice on Ukraine from Elon Musk and from Tucker Carlson. And he has courted the support of misogynists and cozied up to the far right. Those are the advisors Canadians should be really concerned about.
The honourable member from Regina Capel has stood in this place and understands the importance of calling members to order so that those who do have the floor have the opportunity to address the House. The honourable member from Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands and Rideau Lakes.
It's absolutely absurd to hear the finance minister give anyone lessons about who they're taking advice from. Arch-liberal elitist Mark Carney. This guy has more conflicts than the twice guilty and convicted Prime Minister of their party. And they're letting Carbon Tax Carney keep all the money and all the power by covering up his massive conflicts of interest while giving away that finance minister's job. He makes millions from foreign investment firms, and now he's advising the Prime Minister. So why is the Prime Minister letting Carbon Tax Carney keep the money and the power and serving as the real finance minister?
The honourable leader of the government in the House of Commons.
Mr. Speaker, it's absolutely shameful what the Conservatives are doing. When there is a Canadian who doesn't agree with their vision for Canada, what do? Attack them. Whether it's anybody who doesn't agree with what the Conservatives do, the only thing they know how to do is denigrate that person. Mr. Speaker, we should be able to disagree without being disagreeable. We should be able to hear advice from a whole wide range of actors without attacking their character and bringing down fellow Canadians. They should be ashamed of their actions. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very good.
Everyone has an opinion about Canadian federal politics. So we'll wrap it up right there, folks. Pretty interesting all the time here in the House of Commons. Things are crazy. Things are Canadian loony these days. My name's Aaron. This is Canadian Looney, indeed. Like, subscribe, share, get notified, all those fun things. Please leave a comment. Love the comments. What is going on? How are we going to get out of this hole that our current federal government is digging for us? Who knows? We just need an election. Till the next video, thank you for watching this one. We'll catch you next time. Thanks, guys. We do a live show, so come check those out. Many shorts as well. They're fun. Check those. Like, subscribe. It's important. To me, it is. And getting notified for the live shows is important too. We'll catch you next video. Later, gang.